Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Houdini, and the doctor is in. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about tools. Tools and weapons, actually, that we are able to fashion over the years as we go through very difficult times, moderately difficult times. The lessons that we learn give us the ability to create mental and emotional tools and weapons that will help us in the future. Personally, 2015, my ex-wife bails on me after 19 years. I had to learn a whole lot, and I did. And that's all coming in videos that I still have yet to do. But during those times, most of what I learned was about introspection, looking into myself. Well, upon doing that, I was getting through things, sorting things out in my own mind. As I sorted those out, those gave me tools. Well, they didn't give it to me. I had to make those tools in my own mind. I had to determine that this wasn't going to happen again. That I made these mistakes. I did these horrible things. I'm not doing those again. And if for whatever reason I end up in a situation like that with a woman again, that I will know how to sort things through, or I will at least know better than I did before. So these tools and weapons are to fight back. Weapons against negative energy, weapons against toxic people in our lives. In other words, the weapons are the ways that we learn to defend ourselves from those energies and from those people. Whether it means walking away, that's a tool to get through these things. Walking away. And in fact, it's a huge tool and a weapon for many things in life. Being able to say, okay, this isn't good, or even this is going nowhere. And to say, I'm not going to stay here and keep doing this. I'm done. Tried that myself in arguments, while in relationships, just saying, look, we're looping right now. And I'm not going to keep doing this because it's just going to continue. Tempers are going to get higher and higher, and somebody's going to get even more hurt. So I say, I've got to step out of this. Can we come back to it later? Two things have almost always happened. Either A, we do come back to it later. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it still doesn't. That's one thing that can happen. The other thing is that the person keeps fighting you. And they keep pushing and pushing and pushing because they are just so determined to make you feel the same way they do. Even though you know in your own mind, no, this is how I feel. I've been thinking about this while we've been talking. Well, guess what? If your opinion isn't changing at all, and this is in your head. I don't mean in discussion with this person. I mean in your own head. If at no point you sit there and say, all right, well, that one thing is a good point. If that's the case, keep going. Try and open your eyes up, open your mind up to other opinions, other people, other people's experiences, because they're different than yours. So if you sort of see that there's something there, well, then I say give it your full attention and give it a try. But still, a lot of times these things still don't pan out. There's nothing you can do about it. Just try to stick to your guns and walk away. Because they will keep pushing and pushing. And eventually, you may get sucked back into it. I had that happen many times. And it doesn't help. Clearly. Because if things were already going south when you did this, it's only going to go further south. So you need to stop. But I digress. As far as these tools and weapons, that's just one of them. There are so many others. How to seek out things, positive things, how to chase your dreams, I guess you could say, the things that you desperately want to do. So you got to figure out those tools to get your mind to think properly, because I procrastinate way too much. I have multiple sclerosis, and with that comes extreme fatigue. Okay, it sucks, and it does prevent me from doing a lot of things any given day. But there are also times when I may just be sitting there and I say, I'll do it later. Well, guess what? Most times I don't. And I'd be lying if I said that the delay in doing this first video, well, second now after the CJ video, that doing this had nothing to do with procrastination, because in part it did. I've had a lot of stuff going on lately, as well as spending 5 days last week with Tone Dingo in Massachusetts for his birthday. Massive throwdown in the Berkshires. It was fantastic. And I checked out completely during that. I wasn't on social media. I wasn't talking with people through text. We were locked up in a house. There's 12 of us, I think, and big ass Airbnb. And it was phenomenal because we were all in a tight space and it was so much positive energy. So again, this goes back to those energies. And because it was positive, I was open to anything and everything. All of these new people, I knew, I think, 3 people going into it. But I was open to all of them, and they were all different, like quite different from one another. So again, lessons and tools I learned in the past, the lessons that you don't know what these people are going to be like. Don't sit there and stand back and say, oh God. Yeah, we had one guy show up with a, God, what was he wearing? It was a Dukes of Hazzard sweatshirt, I think. And basically his attitude, he's British by birth, but had, wow, that was a loud truck. He's British by birth, but military family, so they traveled a lot. He spent time in the States. Well, everything he seems to love now are almost stereotypical of what a lot of British people think Americans are. I know this because I have friends. They're all still outside London except one guy who's in Hong Kong now. But so I learned these things, that these are kind of their mindset. Like, we have preconceived notions of what British people are like. Tea and crumpets. For them it's NASCAR and, this kind of stuff. Well, that's what this dude likes. Well, he said not NASCAR, but he was definitely a racing fan, whether it be, sprint car or whatever it was. I can't remember, Formula One. But nonetheless, very different. And if I had gone into it like any other time, I would have probably avoided him. Not like consciously pushed him away, but I just wouldn't have engaged him in conversation. But because of the energy that I was feeling off of everybody, I talked to the guy. Over the span of, let's see, Friday night, Saturday night. So 2 nights, I had at least 4 or 5 deep conversations with this guy. He told me things about himself that I don't think anybody else at that place other than his wife knew. And he didn't know me before that. Again, we pick up on the energies, man. Anyways, I think I've gone on a little bit longer than I kind of intended, but that's not a bad thing. I will be back with more of these. Other issue that I've been having is the fact that I have joint custody with my ex-wife, and my son is with me every other week. Well, when he's here and home from school, he's pretty much on the computer the whole damn time. War Thunder pretty much sucks up all his time. The kid has become a huge historian fan. The things he knows about tanks and just military vehicles in general is mind-boggling to me. But it's phenomenal. 17 years old. It's just, but no interest in going into the military per se. So that's a good thing, because I get it. I respect those people a lot, but I don't want my son to do it. Anyways, so he's here until Friday. After that, again, I will have more time and need to get a couple more of these out at least here in the near future. In the meantime, I highly recommend you check out two things. The first, Stacks Pack Coffee, man. We advertise it a lot on the Tone Experience podcast, but they're not really technically a sponsor. We get no financial from them at all. We had the guy who basically runs the company. We had him on the podcast a while back. The guy's amazing. Very limited use of all his limbs. He uses his, the chin and mouth and all that to do everything. Started this coffee company, and so, we thought, cool, here's this amazing dude that's fighting for his life, to live his best life, and apparently started going to the gym as best he can. And he's regained some of that mobility. So to me, that's legit. I will support somebody like that, hands down. So I bought the coffee. I got it. It was actually pretty damn good. Their K-cups actually have a little diffuser thing in the bottom. So it's not just a hole in the top, hole in the bottom, and stuff flows through. There's a diffuser in there. And what I found is it actually does give a much smoother flavor. I'm used to drinking Death Wish. And so, again, extreme fatigue from MS. High caffeine content. But apparently he sources his beans from the same plantation that Death Wish does. It's apparently a different section, a different field, but it's the same plantation. So I thought that was pretty cool. Nonetheless, it was amazing coffee. I highly recommend it. www.staxpack.com. And if you go, which I think you should, coupon code TONEDINGO, 20% off and free shipping. Totally worth it, people. Totally worth it. And on the second point, speaking of Tone Dingo, we do the podcast every Wednesday, every Sunday. I think we've missed one day so far over the last month, which isn't bad. Well, 6 weeks maybe. I advise you check it out. They get silly. They can be very long. I've tried talking to him about cutting things down, and it's a progress. It's in progress right now. We're working on it, but they're totally worth it. And if you listen to nothing else on them, listen to the interviews. We have had, I think it's at least 3 or 4, just mind-blowing interviews. And it's been phenomenal. Our first one was Johnny Dismal, artist out of San Francisco. Amazing interview. He engaged me in conversation, in questioning more than I think I did in him. It was just this back and forth, and it was phenomenal. Then we had Tone Dingo's mom on. I'm not sure what to say about that one. It ended up being her struggles with addiction through the years. She was a crack addict, and then her son, Tone Dingo, became a meth addict, and eventually a fentanyl addict. All three of them, his mom and Tone Dingo, with both his addictions, are all gone. They both beat their addictions. She actually read a poem that she wrote years ago when she was just starting to get clean. Tone and I had no idea what to say after that. And the guest that came after her kind of had to deal with it because we were just speechless. And so we learned a lesson, put the major guest at the end of the episode and the other guest at the beginning. So we're good. But yeah, I highly advise you check it out. Search Tone Dingo Freeman on YouTube and you'll find them all there. So anyways, I hope this was decent. I'm just looking for some people, for people to look inside some and look at the way they react to things in life. And also understand that we are all living a different reality from each other. There's no question about that. Because these eyes are the only thing that see my reality. And this mind is the only one that can process my reality. So that's something I've instilled in my son for years now, that Don't go judging other people about anything, because you don't know. You have no idea. And even if you did know, the way that person feels is something that can't be fully instilled in us. So understand that, please. Well, that's it for today, folks. I'll see you next time. Metal up.